What's up, guys? BradThomas here with goldboys.com, and it is college football conference championship weekend, which means I'm back with more college football bets. But before I get into the bets, I want to thank our sponsors, Sleeper Picks. Number one, make sure you use promo code GOLDBOYS for up to $100 on your first deposit, or use code BradThomas if you love me. And the second one, Pickett Sports. Download it. Smart gamblers always shop their lines. Without further ado, let's get into the first game. It's going to be the Pac-12 championship, Washington versus Oregon. We remember Washington won the first game, and it was an electric game. The spread in that game was -3 in favor of the Huskies. It was played in Seattle, so it was a home game. But now the spread has crept all the way up to 10 in favor of the Ducks. That's right, 13-point difference. Me, as the smart bettor, the guy who sees the value, has to take Washington plus the 10. You might say, well, Brad, what about Michael Penix's regression? His season averages haven't been that great since the last 4 weeks of the season. But if we remember correctly, he had a road game against USC where they won by 10 points, 52-42. They beat Utah by 7. They played against Oregon State at Oregon State. It's always tough to play there as well. And then they beat Washington State in their rivalry game. So yes, they had 4 very difficult games in the season, so I can forgive that. You might say, well, Brad, Oregon's stout. Yes, they're blowing everybody out. They're number 2 in EPA margin, number 1 in offensive success rate, number 21 in defensive success rate, which is really high compared to Washington, who's 90th. But as a betting man and a guy who loves value, you cannot tell me that from now in the time when Washington beat them, they are 13 points different. I do believe in Kalen DeBoer, the head coach of the Washington Huskies. I do believe in Michael Penix Jr., and I do believe in Jalen McMillan and Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze probably having the best season outside of Malik Neighbors for a wide receiver in college football. So I'm going to take the points. The second this line got past 8.5, I started to lick my chops, and I'm licking my chops even more now that we're at the 10. The next game we are going to talk about, don't be upset. I'm going to call this a snooze fest. It's unfair that the Big Ten still has divisions. The Big Ten West versus the Big Ten East. That's the Big Ten Championship. Michigan, the East champion, versus Iowa, the Hawkeyes, the West champion. Hawkeyes did win 10-plus games this season, but they were putrid offensively. Want to know how bad? 130th in offensive success rate. Yes, 130th by being a 10th-ranked team. They held down defensively, 4th in defensive success rate, 2nd against the pass, 16th against the rush. Michigan, 3rd in EPA margin, 7th in offensive success rate, 6th in defensive success rate. They just played their arch nemesis and played phenomenal football, at least in my opinion, to get the W there. It's always tough to play Ohio State. Now they beat them 3 times in a row. They did get a little help from the referees, but I don't care. A win's a win. There's always going to be some good luck and some bad luck when it comes to the ref, and they survive that game. You know what's kind of funny? This line for Iowa team total opened up at 6.5. I would have smashed the under. There's no way the Hawkeyes with Deacon Hill are going to find the end zone unless it's on the defensive side of the football. It's crept all the way down to 0.05, which means they score any points, they win. I do think Michigan shuts them out, but I'm not going to be that brave. I'm actually taking Michigan first half -12.5. You might say, Brad, why are you possibly going to bet on an offensive performance for Michigan against this elite defense? I think it's actually the inverse of what I'm doing. I think that Iowa's offense is so bad against the elite defense of Michigan, they're going to be in some very bad field position. A lot of punts. Yes, they have an All-American punter, but it's going to be a lot of punts from inside their 10, inside their 20, which Michigan will be able to flip field position quite frequently. That's going to allow them to score more points. I do have them winning this first half by at least 14, so 12.5 is a good number for me. Let's just call this game an example of let's just go ahead and say do away with divisions, and the 2 best teams should be battling because, in my opinion, we should be getting a treat of Ohio State versus Michigan round 2, but we're not. So that means we are going to hammer the Wolverines to win the first half by more than 13 points. Guys, thank you so much for checking this out. Remember, I want to thank our sponsors one more time, Pickett and Sleeper Picks. Make sure you drop your favorite bets in the comment section. All of the links to all of our sponsors are in the comment section as well. On your way out, rate, subscribe, and ring the bell. That will tell you when I am live or when we drop another show. Take care.